News from the Sultanate of Oman television. First, the headlines. The state's Financial and Administrative Audit Institution collects and recovers 580 million Omani riyals and deals with 207 cases in the 9th five-year plan. Oman Investment Authority launches project to produce alternative protein from dates. Asiyat Ports Duqm begins the operation and management of the general cargo at Port of Duqm. And the Maritime Security Center signs a memorandum of understanding to exchange data with the French Navy. Those were the headlines. Now for the news in detail. State's Financial and Administrative Audit Institution stated that the total amounts collected and recovered during the 9th five-year plan amounted to 580 million Omani riyals. The institution dealt with 207 cases in coordination with the public prosecution, some of which were judicial decisions and others are still under procedures. More details in the following report.
During the first issuance of the state's Financial and Administrative Audit Institution Society summary on the results of its work, including its annual report for the year 2020 in order to achieve the requirements of the 10th five-year plan to enhance transparency and disclosure to serve the development process in the Sultanate of Oman. The report indicated that the total number of observations during the period from 2011 to 2020 reached 33,096, while the number of audit inspection missions carried out reached 1,861, represented by 1,210 for financial and administrative control, 624 for performance control, and 27 for period control. In the report, it was stated that the total number of complaints and reports during the period from 2011 to 2020 amounted to 4,544, of which 94% were dealt with and completed, indicating that the number of complaints and reports in 2020 increased 51% compared to 2019. The report clarified that these complaints and reports consisted of administrative and financial abuses amounting to 2,767 delays in completing transactions, 1,063 employees' grievances, 232 abuse of authority, 116 insufficient award of tenders, 122, and another 244. The institution's annual examination plan for the year 2020 related to authorities, institutions and public service companies included the implementation of 24 tasks, which issued 21 reports on several topics, including evaluating the performance of the Oman Water and Sanitation Services Company, examining the financial and administrative work of a number of public authorities and institutions, and examining some operating and maintenance contracts for Oman Holding Company for services, environment, and examining some financial and administrative works in the telecommunication sectors.
Oman Investment Authority (OIA) launched a new project to produce mushroom-based protein using dates as the main element in collaboration with the international partners, most predominantly U.S. company Microtechnology. More details in the following report.
Oman Investment Authority and Microtechnology announced the establishment of Vital Foods Technologies to complete the feasibility study of a large-scale production facility in the Sultanate of Oman. The partnership was announced at the Future of Food event organized by Oman Investment Authority and Microtechnology to introduce the promising capabilities of this project, which already underwent several successful techno-economic studies. The event witnessed the formal signing between Oman Investment Authority and Microtechnology to establish Vital Foods Technologies and was attended by several senior government officials, senior corporate executives, representatives of the companies and funds investing in the food sector, and Microtechnology representatives.
We're announcing our joint venture with OIA, and it's really an important one for our company and for Oman, in that we'll be able to transform dates by extracting sugar to create new forms of protein that taste great. And we do that through mushrooms. So it's a really exciting moment that we'll be able to help create a whole new industry.
From this partnership, Oman Investment Authority seeks to enhance food security, achieve national sufficiency in food, and attract international expertise to be utilized in local projects. The outcome of this partnership is hoped to achieve economic diversity, create direct and indirect job opportunities, and create opportunities for Omani small and medium enterprises. This innovative project attracts its international partners to establish their projects in the Sultanate of Oman and to transfer and bring advanced modern technologies to the country.
In a statement to the Sultanate of Oman Radio and Television, Engineer Saleh bin Mohammed al-Shamfri, CEO of Oman Food Investment Holding Company, said that the products of Muruj Dairy and Nama Poultry companies will be soon available in the local markets. He added that there is an expansion in the number of projects and a wide demand for Omani products as they are being exported to a number of Gulf Cooperation Council countries, with hopes that the products will also be available on the regional and global levels in the future. In line with the official inauguration of Port of Duqm, Asyad Ports Duqm is set to commence the operation and management of the general cargo terminal that includes 3 commercial berths in Port of Duqm, following Asyad Group's strategy to enhance the competitiveness of Omani ports and maximize their investment and economic returns, as underpinned by Oman Logistics Strategy 2040. Asyad Terminals Duqm, established through a partnership between Asyad Ports and Port of Duqm, will manage and operate 3 berths in Port of Duqm, which can accommodate the largest container ships and very large crude carriers to serve customers and trade partners. The first one is a multi-use general cargo berth with a capacity of about 1 million TEUs per annum. The second is a bulk cargo berth offering a capacity of almost 5 million TEUs per annum, while the third is a ro-ro vessels berth. These berths will consequently absorb the anticipated growth in ship traffic and cargo operations, ramp up a trade via Port of Duqm with international ports, provide exporters and suppliers of local and global business communities with rapid solutions, and meet CZAD's economic projects requirements. A number of military matters of mutual interest between the Sultanate of Oman and France were reviewed by Vice Admiral Abdullah bin Khamis al-Raisi, Chief of Staff of Sultan's Armed Forces, and Admiral Pierre Vandier, Chief of Staff of the French Navy, and his accompanying delegation, which is visiting the Sultanate of Oman currently. The Vice Admiral, Chief of Staff of Sultan's Armed Forces, received the guest and his accompanying delegation at his office in Muaskar al-Murtafa. The Maritime Security Center signed a memorandum of understanding with the French Navy to exchange data in the field of maritime security between the Sultanate of Oman and France. From the Omani side, the memorandum was signed by Rear Admiral Saif bin Nasser al-Rahbi, Commander of the Royal Navy of Oman, whereas from the French side it was signed by Admiral Pierre Vandier, Chief of Staff of the French Navy. The Minister of Labour issued a decision declaring that Tuesday, the 27th of Rajab, 1443 Hijri, corresponding to the 1st of March 2022, an official leave for employees at ministries, public authorities and other departments of the state's administrative apparatus and workers at establishments of private sector on the occasion of the anniversary of Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj. The decision allowed employers and employees to agree on compensating this holiday if necessity arises. The Ministry of Labour conducted personal interviews for a number of citizens applying for vacant government jobs in the governorates of Muscat and South Al-Batana. The actual number of vacancies that were interviewed reached 267 jobs, for which 2,063 male and female citizens who hold a bachelor's degree competed, in addition to the specific professional jobs for which the candidate is limited to reading and writing proficiency only. The Ministry of Labor will conduct electronic tests from today until the 16th of next month for 1,525 male and female citizens to compete over 476 jobs in the governorates of Muscat and South Al-Batina. On the sideline of economic activities that are organized by General Commission of the Sultanate of Oman Pavilion at Expo 2020 Dubai, a joint meeting between Omani businessmen and their counterparts from the Kingdom of the Netherlands. The meeting focused on creating economic and investment partnerships between the two countries in the fields of energy, food security, waste management, and others. During the meeting, work papers were presented on investment climate in the Sultanate of Oman, the main potentials and the targeted sectors, in addition to investment laws, incentives, and available opportunities for joint projects between both countries. Still to come in our news bulletin. A devastating wildfire in the province of Corrientes in northeastern Argentina has razed almost 8,000 square kilometers of land. Welcome back to the news from the Sultanate of Oman television. U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris warned today of the very real possibility of war in Europe. Speaking to the media at the Munich Security Conference, Kamala Harris further said,
"We're talking about the potential for war in Europe. I mean, let's really take a moment to understand the significance of what we're talking about. It's been over 70 years. And through those 70 years, as I mentioned yesterday, there has been peace and security. We are talking about the real possibility of war in Europe. So our position is for us very clear, which is as a leader, which we have been, bringing together the allies, working together around our collective and unified position, that we would all not just prefer, we desire, we believe it is in the best interest of all that there is a diplomatic end to this moment. And so where do we want this to end? That is where we want it to end. Let me start by saying I appreciate and admire President Zelensky's desire to join NATO. And one of, again, the founding principles of NATO is that each country must have the ability, unimpaired, unimpeded, to determine their own future, both in terms of their form of government and, in this case, whether they desire to be a member of NATO. And I'll put that in context because the obvious is also the point, which is that, and therefore no other country can tell anyone whether they should or should not join NATO. That should be their independent choice. That is the point of sovereignty. So I respect President Zelensky's desire to be a member of NATO. NATO is a membership. It is about nations coming together as a group, making decisions collectively around, again, principles, and what will be then the conditions and the standards of membership. And so that is the process. It doesn't happen overnight. No one country can say, I want to be and therefore I will be. And no one country can say you can't be. And isn't that at the heart of the very issue we're presented with in terms of Russia's aggression or stated aggression toward Ukraine? So I understand why he came here, and I would not second guess, I will not second guess why he spoke the words he speaks. He's in a position again where his country is virtually surrounded by what, I think most reasonable people would believe, hostile troops.
Evacuations continued in eastern Ukraine today, led by rebel groups who control the area in what appear to be part of their and Moscow's effort to paint Ukraine as the aggressor in the ongoing crisis between the two countries. Authorities in Russia's Voronezh region began receiving evacuees from the Donetsk region. The deputy head of the government of the Voronezh region said that 910 people had been evacuated, including 358 children. They have confirmed the readiness to receive 4,500 people. More than 6,600 people had been evacuated from Donetsk, and some 25,000 people have left Luhansk, with 10,000 people preparing to leave. Separatist leaders in eastern Ukraine ordered a full military mobilization yesterday amid a spike of violence in the war-torn region and fears in the West that Russia might use the strife as a pretext for invasion. The separatists and Ukrainian forces have been fighting for almost 8 years. With an estimated 150,000 Russian troops now posted around Ukraine's borders, the long-simmering separatist conflict could provide the spark for a broader attack. Meanwhile, Russia conducted massive nuclear drills yesterday. Greece's Coast Guard said a survivor has been rescued this morning from the stern of a still burning passenger ferry. There are 11 people still missing. A Belarusian was found on the left rear side of the Euroferry Olympia in apparently good condition. The Italian-owned ferry, which was carrying more than 290 passengers and crew, as well as 153 trucks and 32 cars, caught fire on Friday, 3 hours after it left the northwestern Greek port of Igoumentissa on the mainland, bound for Brindisi, Italy. The Greek Coast Guard and other boats evacuated about 280 people to the nearby island of Corfu. One of 2 passengers rescued late yesterday wasn't on the ship's manifest and is presumably a migrant. The ship is being slowly towed to the port of Cassiope in northeastern Corfu by 3 tugboats. Officials said the people rescued included citizens of Albania, Turkey, Bulgaria, Romania, Greece, Italy, and Lithuania. A devastating wildfire in the province of the Corrientes in northeastern Argentina has razed almost 8,000 square kilometers of land, or nearly 10% of the region's area, according to a report by the National Institute of Agriculture Technology. Released Friday, around 785 square meters or square kilometers of land had been burned, which represents 9% of the province's area. Firefighters continued operations to extinguish the flames. The governor of Corrientes declared the province as an ecological and environmental disaster zone. The flames threaten wildlife in the Iberia National Park, the largest wetland in the country and one of its largest ecosystems. Many animals have been burned by flames or poisoned by smoke, while others have been run over on roads while trying to escape the fires. Some of them wander in search of new places after their habitats were destroyed by drought and fire. This is the Sultanate of Oman Television. Before we end tonight's bulletin, here are the main points once again. The state's Financial and Administrative Audit Institution collects and recovers 580 million Omani riyals and deals with 207 cases in the 9th five-year plan. Oman Investment Authority launches project to produce alternative protein from dates. Asyad Ports Duqm begins the operation and management of the general cargo at Port of Duqm. And the Maritime Security Center signs a memorandum of understanding to exchange data with the French Navy. With that, we come to the end of tonight's bulletin. From all of us here at the newsroom and the studios, it's good night and stay safe.